We to that part of the show now. I'm excited. I'm excited because we got a guest. This is 2 weeks in a row we've had a guest.
Hmm.
Stephanie, can you go ahead and introduce our guests while I bring them into the live stream?
I can do that. So, Jeremy Butler is the creator and founder of Savage Kingdom, a collection of unique hand drawn beast like NFTs known as Savages. As a creative professional with over 15 years' experience with startups, nonprofit, and for profit organizations, Jeremy has a passion for solving problems and telling visually compelling stories through web and video experiences. Tech John audience, allow us to introduce Jeffrey Butler. Jeremy Butler.
Jeremy Butler, my man Jeremy. So we was talking about this earlier in the green room. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the family. I'm so glad to get you on. So, folks, I got to just tell this story. So, Jeremy and I crossed paths probably first time 4 or 5 years ago, and we had a couple of Facebook Messenger conversations, talking about tech stuff, and then just kind of fell away, and all of a sudden, I don't know, probably a month or two, it's probably 2 months ago. 2 months ago, he just happened to post, a scripture. I was like, yeah, I'm really feeling that right now. So I replied to his Facebook post. So he just, I don't know, probably a week after that, reached out. I was like, man, I ain't talked to you in years. What's been going on? And just asking how it was. This is all through Facebook. So we kind of reconnected, and then what that did, the algorithm does its thing. It put me back on to seeing regular posts that he's putting up. So I found out this bruh is all into NFTs. I know who's going to be a guest because I need somebody to come on and help do some explaining. So, Jeremy, if you haven't listened to enough shows to know, we get guests on here because we have questions that we like to answer for ourselves, and oftentimes we think those questions will be apropos to our audience. So I just wanted to, once again, welcome you to the show. Glad you're on, and we can get into a conversation about some NFTs because I got questions.
Yo, thank you so much for having me on, Brother Tech Life, Steph and Rob, man. You said Jeffrey, so it's all good. Now I'm messing with you. Thank you so much. I look forward to like connecting with y'all and just kind of seeing where it goes.
So my first question is because I was actually reading an article, I think Friday last week, where an economist dude, I believe this is a guy that wrote the book Black Swan in I think 2010. He also predicted the 2007-2008 housing bubble. His name is Nassam Nicholas Taleb, and he actually put a tweet out, and it says the NFT thingy is, and I like how he said that the NFT thingy is starting to burst. All you need is higher interest rates for things to make no sense to start making no sense, which is kind of a cool tweet. And then he says, you look at Jack Dorsey, we've probably all heard of this. Jack Dorsey's first tweet sold for $2.9 million, and now it's on auction for like 18,000. So he's saying that the bubble is bursting. I don't think it is, because I think in order for there to be a bubble, you have to have massive amounts of people doing stuff. And we are all tech folks, and we still ain't really sure what NFTs are, how they work, why people do what they do with them. That's why you on here, Jeremy, to come and let us know. So first question, can you just explain what an NFT is?
Yeah, so I actually explain it in two different ways, right? Number one, it's the concept or so I'm an 80s baby, right? So I grew up in the 80s, grew up in Texas, grew up in Cali. One of the things we did was we collected pogs, we collected baseball cards, we collected basketball cards, we had the
Garbage Pail
skybox, the
Kids.
players, you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? The whole nine. And if you take that concept of being able to buy tradable cards, right? Because one of the things we would do is not just like to look at this 89 Jordan, skybox card or whatever it was, right? It was also the idea of when we would get together with our crew, with our friends, we would make trades, right? You were like, yo, I got the Elijah wine. Okay, what do you? Okay, I got the Robinson, and so we would do trading, right? And so if you take that same concept of um, something that you can put in your hand, that you buy at the store, that your mom buys at the store, you put in your hand, and then you're able to evaluate the rarity of that basketball card. We're just going to stick with basketball. Obviously, a Jordan rookie card because of its rarity would probably be more than Jordan 5 years into the league, right? And so, if you take that same concept and you transfer it to a digital arena, it's the same principle, right? If you understand what the blockchain is, and I know we like don't have enough time to like truly jump into what the blockchain is, but a digital asset simply is something that lives on the blockchain, which is an NFT. So an NFT can be described as a digital asset that lives on the blockchain. Goodness, Rob, I'm like you today. Blockchain. I'm not trying to roast you, bro. Don't kill me. So yeah, it's
So
it's a digital asset that lives on the blockchain. It goes up and down in value based upon what's happening behind the scenes.
So you talk about you in your analogy, you just said that, the basketball card was this thing that you can hold in your hand. And NFT, I don't think is that. What do you actually get when you purchase an NFT? What is the actual is there, number one, is there an actual physical product that you're getting when you buy an NFT? And if not, what is it? I go on OpenSea right now and buy a savage piece. What what do I get? What do I get to bring home or download or get an email confirmation for, when I make this purchase? What am I actually the owner of?
So I think if I hear you correctly, Tech Life on Staff, you're referring to the utility or the use case of an NFT, right? Meaning, if you mint or purchased an NFT, what do you, as the holder of that NFT, receive? Well, it's NFTs can be really complicated a little bit. The main NFT use case that you see today is what's called a PFP, right? It's what Odell Beckham Jr. has in his profile. It's what Des Bryant has. It's what all of these athletes and celebrities have. That's your basic NFT, which is PFP, and it stands for profile. Uh, y'all got me nervous on here.
Oh,
Just
we'll,
really
we'll
Don't be
look
Red
it up.
nervous,
Butler.
man.
'Cause
Have a
y'all are
conversation.
deep.
Yes,
I,
take a deep
I've
breath.
listened to
We're
like 10 podcasts, and y'all are like, y'all be killing the game. It's a profile headshot, right? It's the basic picture that you put up.
picture for proof.
What picture for proof, right?
Yeah.
Or uh, 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 just you can call it a headshot. That's what some people in my community call it.
Mhm.
That's the basic use case. Now there are additional use cases, like for example, if let's just say we were to build a partnership with Starbucks, like right, so Savage Kingdom connects with the head of Starbucks in Texas. We're able to build a relationship with them, a partnership, and we say, for example, everyone who purchases our Savage Kingdom NFT will receive Starbucks of the year, like a free cup of Starbucks every day for the rest of the year, right? What that then does is that gives me access to getting this really really unique thing from Starbucks that only I have access to,
Right.
right? The only thing that I have to do on my end is show proof of ownership, like. So there are a million different types of utilities and use cases behind NFTs, but the main one
No,
that
no,
everyone sees
I
today is
I
the
that
is
I
the
get
headshot.
that, and that was going to be
Yeah,
one of my next questions. Like, what can we use this for? And that's a great use case. But like literally,
yeah, yeah.
like I like explain it to me like I'm five. I buy this NFT. Maybe I get this tiny little, uh, sort of
TFP.
JPEG
Hmm.
thing that is
Hold
the
on.
Hmm.
Yeah,
PFP, the
yeah, yeah.
little proof of picture, whatever. What else do I actually get that establishes
Proof.
my ownership
Right.
of this item?
Yeah.
Like I heard something about, I've read something about you get the meta, you actually hold the metadata that connects to the blockchain or like whatever, like what do I have besides this little picture that tells somebody that I hold this NFT and nobody else? What is the thing that I get to keep? Do
Is
I
it an
do I need like
email? Is it a
right?
tweet?
Do
Is
I
it a
is it
token?
is
Is
it
it a
email
link?
or do I need a NFT wallet now to hold some sensitive information, some blockchain
Yeah.
information that says Stephanie owns this NFT? Like what am I actually getting That, I mean, I just, and I'm not trying to put you on a spot
No,
necessarily,
you're
but
good.
No, we trying to put
my
you on the spot.
question since
No, it's
this
all good. Trust me, I'm
but
good.
since this entire NFT craze started, I haven't been able to find a article or a person that can actually tell me what I get. Like, what am I? I understand that I am the original owner of this thing, this piece of art or whatever. You know, I get the cloud or the notoriety of being that person, but physically, like, what am I getting? Like I said,
So let me.
if it's just metadata, then it's just metadata. But I'm trying to understand, like, what do you actually get to prove and validate that you own this thing? Like Terrance said, is it you just get an email confirmation from somebody, or like what is it?
So let me ask you this question. I hear your question, and I'm cool with being in the hot seat. Do you own stock, or do you own bonds, or do you own anything of
I
that
do.
nature?
Yes.
So when you purchase a stock, right? When you look at a fund and you say, "Oh, the 2045 fund looks amazing," right? You purchase that. What do you get in return?
Uh, the knowledge that I had it. I mean, I could get a stock certificate. Like, that would be the stock certificate would be the proof of ownership. I mean, I don't know how that works, that you write to that company or whatever to request that. But if my understanding of the stock market is correct, you could get issued a stock certificate that says you own one share or however many shares of this thing. And it's just a piece
So
of paper, and I
yeah, yeah.
get that. And like I said, if owning an NFT is just having a piece of paper, I'm cool with that. I'm just trying to understand what that thing is.
Yeah, no, fair. And I think in order for you to own an NFT, it has to live on a blockchain, right?
Right.
And so, what a lot of people do these days is they remain anonymous, right? So you don't necessarily know who's buying it on the receiving end.
Mm-hmm.
But in order for you to purchase, for the most part, now there are services out there like CrossMint, etc. But for you to purchase an NFT, it has to live on a blockchain.
Okay.
And in order for, right, so once you purchase it, um,
Uh-oh.
what-
We're having some technical difficulties. He was just about to drop that nugget
He's
too.
about to.
access
The internet does not want us to know.
I'm like, I just,
So,
it just
well,
seems like such a simple concept of, like, what do I get? I just need to know
so,
what I get.
so,
You cut out there, Jeremy.
While Jeremy comes back in, I want to say this. I've heard somebody say before that if you think of the blockchain kind of like the title agency, or you think of it as the county auditor, who, where you can go, well, who owns this house? Well, where do you go to find out who owns the house?
Right.
I can say I own it, but how do
Mhm.
you actually prove that you
Mhm.
own the house?
You go.
So if you
look up
think
the
of the
title.
county auditor as the blockchain, they
Mhm.
have a record. They've got a document that says
Absolutely.
that I own this thing.
Mhm.
And I think that when we're thinking about NFTs, that's how they were in this particular case. When we're talking about specifically for a for a digital asset, like a piece of artwork.
Or
Who
like a
owns
share
it?
of a
Well,
stock.
you go to the
Like I said,
title agency. The title
I
agency,
totally
yeah.
get that. But what do I have in my
Right.
possession
Right.
that
So for
says
instance,
I'm the
to
owner of this? And if I have it, when I have them, I just paid my car off last year. I
Mhm.
have that title in my possession. I have that piece of paper with my name on it and my car, make, model, whatever. I have that title in my possession right now.
and
When I
maybe a
buy
bit
the NFT, what is in my possession that
right.
says I'm the owner of this NFT?
And
That's
the
what I'm
better
trying to. That's the question I'm
to
trying
pick
to
to
answer.
piggyback on Stephanie's question, maybe a better way to frame it is, how do I access the thing that I own? Like,
That's
say
the
for
second
instance,
piece of that.
right,
Absolutely.
right. So if I purchase, a Savage Kingdom piece and I get the PFP, which is like the visual proof that I have it.
Right.
Say I
Picture
want
proof.
to take Robb's case about NFTs a couple weeks ago. He mentioned, you could take this NFT if it's a piece of artwork, buy a huge 65-inch, 75-inch TV monitor, right? Get that digital piece of art and then put it on the wall, and maybe it'd be a gallery. If you own 5 or 6 of them, it kind of scrolls every 20 seconds. It changes to the different pieces that you have purchased. I still need a way to be able to digitally, electronically enter this thing to get it, and then actually then put it on my wall. Like, for instance, a JPEG, a PNG, whatever the case may be. I think pushing Stephanie's question is, yes, with a share of a stock, I purchase a share. Stephanie said you can go get a certificate, but also if I then turn around and sell it, I know how to go into my brokerage account, enter my credentials, and those shares be there, and then I then go sell them. So correlate that to me purchasing an NFT and then me saying, okay, I want to see the thing that I have. How do you then? How do you access the thing? Is it a crypto wallet?
Money?
Yeah.
What am I getting for my troubles?
Yo, I'm sorry about that, y'all. My internet I was in my man shed and my internet is kind of wonky. So I was like, let me just transition to the room. My thing about it, Steph, is that you have digital proof that you own it, right? And you can do with that proof whatever you want to do with it.
What is that proof? That's the question.
The proof is it's baked into a number of computers that shows that this transaction actually happened. It's consensus that happens, but this is the issue. The issue is we're so used to centralized concepts and things, and the way we move, and having middlemen to speak for us, and having beautiful interfaces that say, oh yeah, I can log into my Fidelity account and I can purchase this stock, and yes, I can get a stock certificate, right? But all of that is cut out whenever you start talking about the blockchain, whenever you start talking about decentralized technology. So now, therefore, the proof is it lives in my wallet. The proof is that it shows consensus on a number of different computers, right?
So my blockchain entry is in a wallet that I hold. Is that what you're telling me?
So explain that.
That's what I needed to know. Like the actual thing. Like I have a pretty rudimentary understanding of how the blockchain works, but you still have to be able to say, hey, I'm Stephanie Humphrey and that's my NFT, because from what I understand, there's a lot of NFT theft going on right now. The security, everybody's blockchain ain't as secure as everybody else's blockchain. There's a lot of stuff going on these platforms right now. So what do I have that I can say, no, that's my NFT? And that it can be now verified, because the transaction gets logged on the blockchain, but how do I go back and how does that continually be verified? What do I own that allows me to go back to that position on the blockchain to say, that's my NFT?
The fact that I think you alluded to this earlier in the show, right? You talked about a digital footprint, right? Mm-hmm. Now the digital footprint shows that this specific NFT, whatever that NFT is, right? Like, you can also tokenize like real world assets, which is a totally another conversation that we probably won't have time to jump into yet. But the digital footprint shows that this thing that I purchased from XYZ or from whoever, whether it was on OpenSea, whether it was on Magic Eden, wherever it was, now lives with me. Now, what I choose to do with that, let's just say it's a huge brand or enterprise or organization that decides, hey, this is dope. We really love the artwork and we're going to use it however we please. Now, because I own the rights to the NFT, I can then put them in a position to where, if you're going to use my stuff, right? Because theft happens everywhere. You can't stop theft at the end of the day. Like, if someone really wants your stuff, they're going to use your stuff. I think we all know that as tech people.
Well, that's the whole point of I think that was the whole, thing about NFTs in the first place. Like, I can right click and save image on anything on the internet pretty much. But, I still am trying to understand do I own an NFT? Do I have an NFT wallet that belongs to me where there is
Yeah.
some type of
Explain that
information
process.
in the wallet
Right.
that designates that I'm the owner of this NFT? Like I
Right.
said, there's some sort of like
Right.
from what I've been able to ascertain, there's some sort of metadata or something
Yeah.
that links me as the owner to the blockchain. And I'm just trying to verify or sort of validate that with you, that that's actually what I am in possession of, that says I own this thing.
Yeah. So I know I'm gonna get to you, Steph.
And I'm sorry I've been diving. Like,
No,
this
you're
has been
good.
such a
You're
thing in
good.
my craw since this
No,
whole
she
thing
always has the
exploded.
most questions when we have guests. This is nothing new. This is
It's all
nothing new.
good. So
Saying,
so
explain it to
for
me like a five. I mean,
traditionally
we can
speaking,
certainly circle back if Robb or Terrance, y'all got some questions, we can definitely circle back. I know,
Well, no,
like I
I'm just
said,
going to say this because Terrance or Jeremy, you actually had dropped off when I said this, and I started saying, I said you can almost look at the blockchain like your county auditor. So
Yeah.
if I have the deed to a house, I can, I can stand out in front of my house and tell somebody I own this house. Now, how can they verify that? I can show them a deed to the house, but they can, well, that's fake. I don't trust what you're showing me. Where can I go verify this? Well, there is the county auditor. Well, if you look at them as the blockchain, they can go to the county auditor. They're going to look at what's the address. Oh, yes, based on our records, this is who owns this particular piece of property. I think that when we're talking about NFTs for how Savage Kingdom uses them, where there are digital pieces of artwork that are you can show ownership based off the blockchain. It's kind of the same way. You're going to the county auditor. I don't know why am I saying county auditor, and it says this account owns this asset. And that's where your proof is. And it's basically, as long as there are multiple nodes that have agreed to that, we're not going to get into the math. That will take years to do. But basically the math that happens on the blockchain, you're going to have multiple nodes that all say, okay, yeah, we all accept this, as the state of what is. And you can go there and actually verify who owns this, or which I should say, what account actually owns this. What link into that blockchain actually is the owner of this particular asset. Is that a good analogy for how this could work?
Yeah, I think so. I think you
so
hit the
just
nail right on
my
the head.
one last question. So I
Oh,
just
good.
looked up something real quick, and it says that when you buy an NFT, you buy the token that represents the item. So in that token, there's a little bit of it's a
Metadata.
small file that has like a URL and a serial number and some other. So where's that token
Right.
being
And how do
stored?
I access it? If I
And how
just
do I
want to,
That
access the token? So I have an
yes.
NFT wallet that has this token in it, and
yes.
then I can go to my wallet and sell the token to someone else, and now they're the
Sure.
official owner of the NFT.
That is correct.
Okay,
That's what she was getting
so
to.
I
Yeah,
own
yeah,
a token. So we
yes.
did all of this to say that I own a token in a digital wallet with the information of the location on the blockchain and the serial number of the item.
Yes.
So
Right.
so somebody
So
spent $2 million on a token of
Yo,
Jack
check this
Dorsey's
out.
first
People,
tweet.
here's the thing though, right? People jump into NFTs for different reasons, right? Some people do jump into it because they want to flip something really fast and really quick. Some people jump into it because they love the art. Some people jump into it because they love the community and the nostalgia of, oh, I remember back in my heyday, this is how we used to do trading cards. So it's different reasons and
Right.
different types of people that all use NFTs for different types of things.
So my question.
one
Go ahead, Rob.
So one of the things that I want to start doing is, and this is one of the reasons why you have you on there, you have some dope artwork over at Savage Kingdom.
Get out of here. Thank you.
It's like, I mean, it's straight up. We're gonna put all kind of links to it in the show notes. So those who are listening, you will be able to go come look at our show notes, take and go look at what you can some of the things you can get over Savage NFT or Savage Kingdom rather. But it's like some dope artwork that you guys have come up with over there. So we've talked about how these things are and what these things are. You actually have a company now where people can actually go out and get some of these things from your collection.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about Savage Kingdom and what you guys are doing over there?
Yeah, no, I think I'm in my bag now. I think Steph had me shook up a little bit, and I was like, well, "Wait a minute! Oh my God, hold on!
Tell
I've been
me.
set up. I've
What
been
am I getting? I just need
I think,
to
yeah,
know.
and without to not belabor the point, I think
yeah,
that's the common issue is like
yeah,
people like you, Jeremy, you are visionaries and you see the vision, and
Right.
you're truly believing in the fact that the way we do things now, centralized government, banks, yada yada yada, we can do it without them. So we want to make sure that we're expressing this thing right.
right,
And
yeah,
then people, newbies like us, me, Stephanie, Rob, are coming in like, all right,
I just
I
need to
see the
know I have a
vision,
coach.
but at the same time, I ain't trying to get played. So
right,
break it
right.
down
What am I doing with
using
this
the
token?
current things that we know. How do you break that, and then how do you explain it to where, okay, now I see the vision? I think that's the whole breakdown, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I think you look, man. This stuff is. I was actually kind of reluctant to jump into the NFT business. You know what I'm saying? Because yo, like I jumped into crypto in 2016, and I have one of those glory stories, one of those like shoulda, coulda, woulda type of. I wish I could have done something different type of stories. I had 130,000 XRP. Some of your listeners may know or what that is or whatever. It's a
Break it
Oh, I
down
coin,
do.
to us, because I don't know what
Oh,
that
I
is.
do.
right?
Is it just a different type of crypto from
Yeah,
Bitcoin or
yeah,
Ether or
Yeah,
whatever?
and,
Yeah.
and he
yeah.
had a grip of it. He had a
I
grip.
had a lot of them, and I sold all 130,000 for $1,500. And then
What?
a year,
Oh
Bro.
yeah.
listen, because that's
Bro.
how much they were at the time, and I was like, I need this little bread. I'm gonna get
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to it.
listen, I understand.
I'm gonna get back to it. And then a year later, no lie, it went up to like $3.20 in XRP, and I was like, dang, that was like 400 grand. And I'm tripping. I was bitter for
Bro.
about 6 months, and then I woke up and I said, you know what?
That's it.
About
I
six
would
months.
still be feeling some kind of way
But
about
no,
that.
I don't. Let me tell you why. Because in 2017, in 2018, uh, 2019, 2020, all I did was load up. I bought any and everything that I could.
Right.
And um, we were talking about Easter a little earlier. God is good.
All the
So
time.
All the
so
time.
what happened is, I was placed in this really fortunate position, and I said, this crypto thing has really changed my life. Literally, it's been life changing. I'm not saying like I'm just balling and killing the game, but I got a little more than what I had. And
Hmm.
so I jumped in to the NFT space because I saw how this artwork was taken off. And then I saw some of the scammy stuff that was taken off and how people were getting their money stolen. And then I kind of put two and two together. It was like, I love this art, and I want to be able to show people what crypto and what NFTs are all about. Right. And
Hmm.
so circling back full circle to Savage Kingdom, like for me, it was about how do we inject culture? How do we inject some of the stuff that me and my crew grew up loving from, the samurai movies that we watched with the mouths that weren't really syncing up with the words
The
to
awful dubbing.
all of it, right? To hip hop, to Biggie, to pop, to all these different
Look,
elements.
Stephanie got that Wu Tang shirt on right now.
Yo, I figured it was all for the culture, so I wore my culture shirt as well because I was like,
No doubt.
I gotta rep. And so that's kind of how we came up with the concept with the artwork. It was taking all these different pieces from how we grew up and really kind of mixing that with financial literacy. So for us, it's more than just, yeah, it's a photo, but it represents a movement, it represents an ideology, it represents a concept that basically says you need to own your financial future. You
Hmm.
need to own what you have. You need to own where you are, and you need to figure out ways to push forward financially. And so, I can't really give financial advice because I work for a financial company, and it would be a conflict of interest, which is crazy. But they know what I'm doing. I had to go through compliance to get all this kind of taken care of. And so once the compliance piece was taken care of with the company that I work for me, it was about assembling a team and really trying to get our message out, really trying to make sure that that we have representation in this space. Because yes, it's a lot of money being made. Like, when a tweet sells for $2.5 million or whatever that number is, look, I'll go back. I'll take it a step further back. When LA can pay LeBron James $154 million for 4 years, that lets me know that people have money to spend and they
Hmm.
want to spend it on value. So,
Mhm.
is there something that we can create in the NFT space that creates value for people, that lets people want to be a part of a movement and then really kind of like an organization, if you will, that they can be proud of, that they can know that, it's because it's not a lot of Black NFT led projects in the space. You know, I feel very proud to be a Black founder. I feel very, very proud to teach people about some of the financial basics, because again, the number of people that this space attracts is a lot, but the number of people who don't understand it is just as
Right.
crazy. And then the number of people who jump in when the market is real high, only for it to tank 50%, and then they scream that it's a scam. And it's like, no, fam, like, you rode the train when it was at the very top. Of course, it was going to be a pullback. So that's why we created our collection, to kind of teach people the basics of crypto and finances.
So you call it a project. I know I said I ain't had no more questions, but this is just one, and this is, not gonna be too. I hope it won't be too hard. You call it the Savage Kingdom project. Would you liken it more to an kind of an art gallery where you curate artists and sort of facilitate the sale of their artwork? Maybe an educational art gallery, because you are also providing crypto NFT, literacy, or is it more of a marketplace where you just provide the platform, um and then creators of color can come from far and wide to take advantage of the platform to make their own trades and sell their own products as NFTs, or
Or
a combination of both, or
or to a
something
third
else?
one, are you providing a community to where people who are members, i.e., people who have purchased, traded, whatever the case may be, Savage Kingdom pieces, are you then giving them, because you mentioned it earlier, access to quote perks, experiences that other people who are not members that don't own Savage Kingdom NFTs won't be privy to?
Man, those are great questions. Let me address Steph, and then I come to you, brother Zach. So we originally started our mint basically giving people the opportunity to purchase our NFT back in February. And this space, again, it's interesting, right? Because you run into some strange creatures, man, and that's the best phrase that I can that I can come up with. You run into some crazy people, you run into some really wild personalities, and some of those people will say, yo, if you don't sell out within 24 hours, then you missed it, right? um, and again, because that's the hype around it, right? We all know it's a
Right.
lot of hype, and if you don't catch that hype train, your project is dead. Well, I've seen projects that really push hype, and after they've made, say, two or 300, 400 grand, they disappear, or they don't come out with any additional things that are on their roadmap.
Right.
So for us, we
Smash
started.
and grab, basically.
Absolutely, right. And I wanted to make sure that we steered clear of that, because one of the biggest things in the space, for me anyways, is to be doxxed. Doxing is basically letting the world know who you are, meaning I'm not going to hide behind this PFP. I'm not going to hide behind a pseudonym or something that's anonymous. I'm going to let you know, hey, I'm Jeremy Butler. I work for Fidelity Investments at the moment. I have my own thing going down on the side, because I believe that allows people to build trust when they're able to see, yo, this is a real dude on the other end of this, right? And so we minted on our website. We allow people to purchase on our website, and then just recently, as of last week, we moved to a secondary market. So we moved to Magic Eden.
Mhm.
So our NFT collection is on Solana. Solana is a blockchain; is very different than Ethereum. Similar, properties and
Yep.
qualities and different things like that. I'm not going to get into that whole crazy conversation.
Cheaper.
It
Right?
is
Was
cheap
there?
on
Yeah,
the
I was going to
transaction.
ask
Yeah,
about
affordable.
why you
Yeah,
chose
Yeah,
Solana as opposed to
yeah.
Ether or one of the
I
other ones.
I think Rob hit it on the head. For me, it didn't make sense for me to create this collection and then to try to sell this collection to the people that I was honestly targeting, because it's like, okay, you buy $100 PFP or $100 NFT, and then you spend $80 on the transaction fee, and it's like
Right.
that in my
Right.
mind. If I'm really trying
Mm.
to teach people about financial literacy and financial basics,
That don't
that
make
to
no
me,
sense.
that don't make
no
sense,
sense.
right? So I figured, what's the next best thing, right? And for me, and me and my team actually wrestled over this for about 3 weeks, because obviously Ethereum has literally all of the market share, right? If I really wanted it to be a cash and grab, I would have went the Ethereum route. But it was something about, do I want to pay $80 for a transaction fee, or do I want to pay $2 for a transaction fee?
Hmm.
So it's definitely a trade-off, but I think for us in the end it was a very strategic move, because I'm going after people that are underrepresented. I'm going after people who are underserved, right? I'm going after people who um, uh, want to know more about this space, but
Right.
don't feel comfortable putting too much skin in the game, because they don't want to lose out on, yo, I live check to check, or I'm good, but I don't really know what this is, so I'm gonna stay away from it. And so Solana was the best route for us.
Okay.
no. At the end of the day, $100 for the art, that's one thing. $80 for the transaction fee is like, okay, that's not pocket change money. I mean, that you might have to make a decision on whether or not you want to purchase something if it costs you $80 to purchase it.
And here's the
So
thing. Let's just say that you are a little riskier and you have heavier bags and you want to buy more, right? So the more expensive the NFT is, the bigger the gas fee is, right? So
Hmm.
if I'm buying an NFT that's one ETH, let's just say $3,000, right? I'm going to spend significantly more than likely in the hundreds of dollars more on the transaction fee, versus it being $100. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm paying $80 for the transaction fee. So again, it was just like, I'm not. To me, that's, and this is just me, right? Because everyone doesn't believe what I believe, but for me, I wanted to make sure that people were comfortable and didn't feel like they were getting scammed and ripped off. And it's a lot of people of color that I know that say, "Yo, Jay, I want to buy this. I just don't know how." Right? So
Right.
I want to know more about crypto. I just don't know where to start. And so again, it just made sense for me to be on this blockchain, as well as for us to be like educationally focused.
Yeah.
Like that like people perish because of a lack of knowledge. Like this is, I believe we're in a time where if you don't, let me rephrase this, because I don't want my manager hitting me up and being like, "Yo, Jay, what was she doing?" I believe, y'all laughing. I'm dead serious. I believe we're in a time, and I'll say this: many companies put out stats and statistics. Financial companies that you invest through put out stats that talk about 2% or 10% or a quarter of Americans who are male, um, have at least some part of their net worth in crypto assets. These are facts, right? And so I believe we're in a wave and we're in a movement to where, um, if you don't educate yourself on cryptocurrency assets, whether that's coins, tokens, or NFTs, or whatever else comes down the pipe, um, you're going to miss it, and you're going to miss an opportunity for wealth transfer and wealth accumulation. Period. I make no apologies about that statement. So for
no,
me, our mission is like super critical that, we teach people that this is, in my opinion, a way. If you're trying to catch up, or if you're trying to get ahead, this is a way that you can do that.
So, how would you describe your how would you describe your product? Is it education? Is it, like Stephanie mentioned, is it a marketplace where people can come in and buy and trade? Or is it like literally like, I like this artwork and I'm going to buy this artwork and I'm going to hold it as long as possible until it accumulates value? How would you explain your product?
Yeah, absolutely. I think any founder, you go into business to make a profit, period. That's
Mhm.
like business 101. And especially if you're a startup, I think eventually the vision has to be, how do we change people's lives and how do we sustain ourselves? How do we make money? You know what I'm saying? How do we figure out how to make this thing rise in value? So yes, to answer the last part of your question, I'm gonna circle back to the first part. Yeah, I definitely want the value to go up, but value goes up based upon a number of different things, right? It's sometimes it's no magic sauce, right? We were trying to work with a guy at the end of last year. Speaking of scams, we were trying to work with a guy, one of these top marketers for one of these top collections, and it just went sideways. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It just didn't work out. He was like, "Yo, I think I can do XYZ," and we vetted him. We looked at all the work, and it just tanked. It didn't do what we wanted it to do. And so we definitely want the collection to go up in value, and value can be associated with how close is the team uh, in terms of like hitting the milestones and really walking people through your roadmap. For the most part, many NFT collections and projects have roadmaps that they stick close to, right? I know, y'all earlier were talking about Slack. Well, we use Discord for my squad, right? Like Discord is kind of like the main thing in the NFT collection community or whatever.
Mhm.
So we try to hit our milestones. For us, we're not creating a secondary market. Like that's not in my plans. I have no desire for a secondary market, especially if there are marketplaces that already exist and they have the developers, they have investments, they have all these different things that I don't personally have at the moment. It just makes sense for me to use their platform. But for me, it's we want people to enjoy and love the artwork, and the main thing that we're focusing on is financial literacy. We do have some things down the road, like we want to eventually create a game. Like that's something dear to me, where that's another use case of, or utility aspect of our NFT collection, where we're going to give people the opportunity to do certain things in the game that allows your NFT to go up in value. I don't want to give like too much of the secret sauce away, but there are current games that exist right now that allow people to buy different things on the blockchain, right, to increase the value of their NFT. And then, if they decide to sell it, they can sell it. If they decide to, yeah, I don't want to sell it, I want to keep it forever, because you do get those people as well. Like, you get the Michael Saylors, if y'all know who Michael Saylor is, you get the Michael Saylors of the NFT community that say, I am never going to sell this. Like, I follow some Bored Ape people, um, and they're like, yo, I'm not going to sell this. And I'm like, shoot, $500,000, you out your mind.
Well, so but then that brings up another point.
Yeah,
Saray actually in our chat mentions valuation of collectible works has always been a collective subjective game.
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
focusing on collective, right? The Bored
Hmm.
Ape thing, they have a community, a collective of people who believe so much in this product
Absolutely.
that they would keep it and hold it because of the cachet that comes along
Yeah.
with being a part of that community. So you can see them not only spending all this money to buy these, portraits or whatever, but you'll see them lined up around the corner at an event that's just for them,
Yeah.
right? Now, we may call it that's silly or whatever the case may
Oh, I
be.
love it.
Right, right. So, I mean, and that kind of gets to my ultimate question. It's like, what do you envision? I mean, of course you can't. You're not
Yeah.
a soothsayer. You can't see the future. But ultimately, what do you think? In addition to what you're trying to do, what do you think will be like the ultimate use
Yeah.
case for an NFT? Or just yeah, we'll just leave it with NFTs.
Yeah.
How do you see people using them ultimately? if not, of course you're trying
I
to push your way of
Yeah, for
your
sure.
product. How do you see people ultimately doing it? Is it a community? Is it a thing? Is it artwork? What how do you see people
I,
ultimately using them?
I honestly think, man, this is the tip of the iceberg, right?
Okay.
I think the biggest thing again that we're seeing these days are the headshots, are the profile photos. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Are the if you go to Odell Beckham's, Instagram page, you're gonna see a dead fella. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much they paid him to to rep that, but I ain't got that kind of dead fella money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Mhm.
that's the main utility and use case. I do think as time goes on, there would be dozens, dozens of more use cases. I mean, when you look at, I was speaking with the dude probably a couple of months ago, man, and they're incorporating NFTs into clothing, which I'm like, how does that work? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that look like? What does that mean? You know, for another use case that I was actually, see, I was prepping before this because I figured this was going to come up. Another use case is Coachella. I don't know if y'all heard about that, right? So Coachella recently sold 10 tickets, 10 lifetime tickets as NFTs.
Hmm.
Right.
Like, that's insane. Like, do you think about if you love music,
Hmm.
right? Like, you're a diehard music fan and you love Coachella
Mhm.
and you love the atmosphere and the community and all these things
I
that
would buy
Coachella
a new
brings.
edition NFT for lifetime
Yeah.
access to any
Hmm.
new edition concert
No,
that ever
Right, but
came
this is the
through.
beautiful thing, though, Steph. Right, you can now that you're saying I'm the digital owner of this, I can keep that in the family. That is an asset. Again, it's a digital asset that goes up and down in value. Right, the blockchain doesn't lie at the end of the day.
yeah.
Right.
The Coachella thing is super interesting because it's on the blockchain. It's an NFT and it's transferable.
Hmm.
You decide, you know what? I've been to the last 10. I really don't got to do that again. You can sell it to someone
Right.
else. And the value of it may go way up. It may come down. You don't know. But the thing is, you have an asset that you can now transfer to someone else, and then they have the asset.
Right. But
Which is
again,
it's kind of
it,
cool how you can do that.
right. But it goes back to the value
Hmm.
of Coachella.
Yeah.
Everybody just ain't gonna do that if Coachella
It's
was just some
only
Rudy Poot,
everything is
Right.
only as valuable as people perceive it to be. I mean, that's
Right.
that's
Right.
just always going to be the case. Do I have time for one more question?
Yes, definitely. You
One more.
can ask one more.
And this is relative to Savage Kingdom specifically. Walk me through because I'm on your website right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walk me through what happens if I decide to first purchase an NFT or because I see the link to purchase your NFT and I see the button to mint your NFT. So kind of walk me, really as high
Yeah.
level as we can because I know we're getting up on time or whatever, but walk me through what happens when I click the link to purchase or when I click the button to mint.
Yeah. So I'll definitely need to get with our team because the mint button should say purchase, but they should lead you
Mhm.
to the same place.
Oh, okay.
Basically, because it's on the blockchain, you'll need crypto to buy it, right?
Mhm.
If
Fair.
one of the best ways to buy crypto is through Coinbase,
Yeah,
right? That
I have a
that's
Coinbase
that's
account.
the go-to just about for everyone,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
Because we're based upon the Solana blockchain. You want to buy Solana, right?
Mhm.
After you buy your Solana, unfortunately, Coinbase hasn't implemented like kind of like an opportunity that allows people to purchase NFTs with their Solana wallet yet. It's coming based
Mhm.
upon everything that they're saying, but you would need to set up a Solana wallet. I currently would probably recommend Phantom or Soulflare, um, and then you would need to send your Solana from your Coinbase wallet or account to your Soulflare or Phantom wallet. Because what happens is whenever you click that button, it's going to take you to the secondary market, which is Magic Eden,
I'm looking at that right now. Yep.
right? And so now from there, you could say, okay, well, bet I want to buy, number 2222 for point 0.3 Solana or whatever the case may be, right? So
Mhm.
like that's the high level way of putting it. I know it's kind of um,
No,
I
this
know
is
my
what we
Okay.
stuff,
need. So
but
keep
yeah.
This
going.
is
Keep
helpful.
going.
Yeah, no, we need the basics, man. Like I said, explain it like I'm
No,
fine. No,
you
I'm
But
gonna
looking at
have folks
I'm
that's
looking at
gonna
the
go do
artwork.
this
The
after
artwork's
this. So you
pretty
tell them.
dope. The artwork's pretty. You might have me go
yo,
out here and try
we
to
were real
buy
talk.
a little something something.
We were really intentional about the art, man. Typically, what you'll see with most artwork, and I'm sorry, Rob, I know we're close to time. What you'll see with most art is they give you one base character, and then they'll give you 30 different traits. For us, because I'm speaking to a number of different people, and no person is the same. So we have four different base characters. Each base character has at least 40 to 60 different traits, right? Whether it's we're talking skin tones, whether we're talking like Kangos, whether we're talking, locks. Like there aren't a lot of characters that look like our characters. There
Right.
isn't a lot of representation in this space. The closest thing to represent, I'm gonna tell you the closest thing to representation, this is what it looks like. You got white men, and this is indicative of our society. You have white men, and then from there, you have the next celebrated group are women. Shout out to all the women and women in tech. We love you. We appreciate you. And then from there, you have the LGBTQIA plus community. And then from there, it drops off. So when I'm telling you there is a lack of representation in the space, our thing is like, yo, we want people to know that we're in this space. So the artwork is a representation of that.
A reflection of that.
Yeah, it's a
Did you have a
reflection of that.
dedicated group of artists put this
Oh
collection out?
yeah. My main artist is a dude out of Nigeria, real dude, real cool cat named Emmanuel. He kind of helped me come up with the concept, and then I have a dude. My team is literally based all over the world, and I have a dude from Latvia, and then I work with a couple of other independent artists in the states. And man, they just kind of I told them the vision, and we worked together, and they helped come up with it. So yeah,
Cool.
it's a crazy process. And then I have a whole nother group of developers who have actually helped me put it on the blockchain, right? And then I have a whole nother team that does our marketing, a whole nother team that does our social. Like
Right.
it's and I don't have I don't have a big budget like some of these VCs and some of these cats that I have no doubt that we would have sold out if I would have put $50,000 into marketing. But that's not how my money is set up. I got a family.
And I mean that may not necessarily even be the best strategy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
This is just as chess, not checkers. And so
absolutely.
if you're trying to build a legacy and we're talking about wealth creation and holding on to assets, passing it down through generations and different stuff like that, maybe that wouldn't have been the best strategy for you in the first place. So
It's a marathon, right?
that's right.
Because
That's
when you
right.
talk finances, you have to help people change their habits and change how they think about money.
Jeremy, before we let you go, we might have to we might have to have a part two because there's so many more questions I still want to ask, but we are way over on time. I'm probably going to have to
My bad, fam.
no. There's no your bad. So like, I'm
It was
just thinking
probably
it's
more
like
my
right now
fault
I'm
than
thinking
anything.
we
No, you're good.
no, we like I said, I can see this part of the tech John of episode 31. We might just have to put some of this on YouTube so people can go and get to this. The last time we did that, we talked about crypto, as well. And it's just something that got a bunch of views. So we may have to figure out what we're going to do with this. But I just want to give you the opportunity. Is there anything else you want to tell us about Savage Kingdom? Before we actually go ahead and close the show out. Particularly about, once again, how do I go get some? Because
And
folks, I'm
when?
telling
Because it
y'all,
seems like
you
it sounds
need
like
to.
I just can't go in there and buy it right now. I'm pretty sure you got dates. You
No,
got
you can
things you're
buy it.
trying to drop.
No,
We're
the
live.
marketplace is up.
No, they're live.
The
Oh,
marketplace
okay.
is
No,
live.
this
I'm
stuff
looking
is
at it right
live.
now. I'm about to
Yeah.
go on my Coinbase
Get out of
and
here.
Yeah. No.
no, I'm dead.
So
I'm dead
so
serious.
folks,
I'm
Oh
going to my
there's
man,
an after
Coinbase right
party that
now.
that's crazy.
there's an after party that we do on the Tech John. We got some questions. So this is a good reason for our listeners that if you are not a patron, you might want to become one. Head over to patreon.com/the Tech John. You can become a patron and you get access to things like our after party and our live stream. So Jeremy, as we close the show out, go ahead and tell our listeners how they can get at you. Any of your socials, all that kind of stuff. Let folks know how they can get to you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Rob. Again, Jeremy Butler, founder of Savage Kingdom. All of our social media handles are /Savage KNFT. Um, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as LinkedIn, right? Because it's a huge opportunity there that I think a lot of people just miss, and for us that's a very strategic move. And also on Magic Eden is where you can actually go purchase our NFT if you just look up. I believe it's magiceden.io. And if you look up Savage Kingdom on there, you'll kind of see some of our artwork. We're putting more and more out. We haven't even released the some of the crazier stuff that I'm going to release this week. So yeah, that's how you can find us, and yeah, that's how you can also purchase.